to show the first step with 10-week-old puppy Akita Mushu. He doesn't know this yet, and it's nice to see the learning process. I start by placing down a low value treat and protecting it with a caged hand, and then you play the waiting game. The moment he disengages, I mark and reward with the other hand using a high value treat, like chicken. When they can do it like this, it's time to move on to the next stage.
Yes.
Drop the food on the floor and protect it with a shield hand. When they disengage, mark yes and feed from the other hand. Repeat the previous step, but this time add a little distance between your hand and the food. Now drop the food from a short height. Keep that shield hand ready to guard it just in case.
Yes.
Now she's doing it consistently, I'm going to add the verbal cue leave it. I've also removed the shield hand. Wait for them to disengage and then mark and reward from your other hand. I'm upping the challenge here by adding a little bit of motion to the food. I've asked her to lie down because she's then less likely to go for it. Repeat the previous step, but this time she's standing.
Leave it. Yes.
This is the hardest step. Get it means that she can go for the food. Leave it means that she can't. It really tests whether or not she's listening to me. It's important to note that I actually spent several 5-minute sessions on each one of these stages. I tried to get it as consistent as possible before I moved on to the next step. This step imitates real life. I'm going to drop food whilst pretending to cook, ask her to leave it, and then reward her when she does.
Good.
This is how far we got with Mushu.
Good boy.
Next, it's time to take Leave It outside. I do this by placing food down whilst the dogs aren't looking. I then come back and approach the food with the dog on lead. As soon as she starts to show interest in the food, I cue her to leave it and then mark and reward. As she becomes consistent with this behaviour, I try it again without holding the lead. This is the current level she's working at, which is why I get a little bit closer before cueing her to leave it.
Leave it.
I then reward in the opposite direction, which allows me to pick up the food. Dogs are terrible at generalising, so if you want them to learn that leave it means more than just leave food, you're going to have to practice with different things. Here we work on leaving a toy. I start with her on lead so that she can't fail. When she does, I reward her with something really high value. I'm using Primula cheese. Gradually we built up the level of difficulty.
Leave it.
Now she can leave the toy after I amp her up, and right at the last second.
Leave it.
Here we are leaving birds.
Good.
And once again we're rewarding with her favourite treat, Primula cheese. It's important to note that leave it is not the same as drop. Once again, dogs are terrible at generalising, so it's really important that we teach specific cues for specific behaviours. Leave it is for when they don't have something and may go for it. Drop is for when they have something in their mouth and they need to let go. I have several separate tutorials on how to train drop.